the wind is whipping stronger than it has in the last 24 hours. It is unbelievable. This storm, Florence, will not quit. They call this a Category 1. This is some of the strongest Category 1 winds that I've certainly seen. Most of New Hanover County is now out of electricity. No electricity service to almost the entire county. Our cell phones have gone down. All communications here cut. We're now using a satellite phone and some other technology to even get this 5-shot out. It is absolute pandemonium here.
That was Miguel Marquez a short time before we went on air. Conditions in many places have gotten no better. Hurricane Florence now a tropical storm, as you know. No one's idea of typical, though. Not on the track it took to get here, not on the enormous size, not on how slow it's moving. You heard 3 miles an hour. It's incredible. That lingering means feet of rain in places, not inches, feet, and hundreds of people needing rescue from last night through today, probably tonight. You saw the iconic photo before the break of volunteer Amber Herschel, who drove here from Indiana carrying a young girl to safety earlier. Shortly before airtime, I spoke with that girl's mom, Annazette Riley Cromartie. Annazette, you were home with your 3 kids, with your husband, with your dog. I know you thought the house was going to be safe because it's a brick house. When did you realize that the situation was getting out of control?
About like 11:30, 12 o'clock, when the water came into the house. It came in slowly, but then it just steady, kept rising. And then my husband, he pushed the mattress upstairs into the attic, and we were in there for a little bit, and the wind started getting really bad, so we just made a decision to come down out of the attic and put the kids on the top bunk bed for them to at least try to get some sleep, and hopefully the water didn't rise anymore. And then while we were still waiting, my husband kept hearing people yelling for help, and he tried to go outside and see if he could help, but then the water got up above his chest, and then he had to come back inside, and they were it's you can't help anyone because you just keep hearing people yelling, and you can't do anything. And it's the worst feeling in the world, to hear people yelling for help, and you can't do anything.
So you could hear your neighbors screaming and yelling for help?
Yes. And my husband, I was worried about my husband. He's like, babe, I can't just sit here and hear people yelling and not try to do something. And he tried to walk around in the water, but the water got too high. My husband's 6'2", and for him, the water got up to almost above his chest. He's like, I had to come back. And then we made sure the kids were okay, and then we called 911, and they was well, we can just wait. And then we didn't get anyone to come and get us until about 9 o'clock in the morning.
So I understand it was a volunteer who came and rescued you. Is that right?
Yeah, there were some guys from Indianapolis with some boats, and they were just basically just going back and forth, bringing people across I don't even know how far it was for us to get to land where the fire department was waiting with the truck, and we were just basically just waiting for people to just come onto the boat.
When you saw them come, I mean, I can't imagine what that must have been the greatest feeling in the world.
It was deep, but it felt like I was alive all over again. They were I felt so safe, and we made sure the kids got out first. We made sure our kids left, and then we stayed back, and then they came back and got us, and it was the longest time, not knowing, okay, I know they're going to be safe, but then, not really knowing until you actually got to see your kids again.
I know we're showing photos of the rescue. What do you want to say to those volunteers who rescued you and your family?
I just want to say thank you and God bless you. It takes a special person to leave their own home and their own family and come all this way to help us. And we get talked about well, why did you guys stay? We thought it would be okay it downgraded. We lived in a brick house. We thought we would be fine. And I'm just thankful that there were people there to help us.
Well, Anisette, I'm so glad that your family is okay. As you know, there have been hundreds of rescues, and several people have lost their lives already. You're very lucky, and I'm so glad that you're safe tonight. And I wish you and your family the best. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Anisette's family, as you've been seeing, was far from the only one needing rescue. Crews have been very busy. They still are. Take a look at this.
We decided to go out last night just to scope the area out, see where we were going to go today, and ended up getting several calls last night, hundreds of calls for service last night. We pulled, like I said, about 35 to 40 people out from water, anywhere between 2 feet to 40 feet. We rescued a couple people that were posting on Facebook, their addresses and stuff. We, elderly people, blind people, medically problem people, anybody that needed help, we were there.
Well, we want to get the latest on what's been going on. Wilmington's Fire Chief, Buddy Martinet, is kind enough to join us, and the Mayor, Bill Saffo, as well. Mayor, how are things going?
Well, we've got a lot of down power lines and trees. Roads, a lot of the roads are impassable.
Some beautiful, old, huge trees are down. It's
a crying shame. I mean, a lot of these beautiful old oak trees here in Wilmington are gone, and so it's going to take us some time to get these roads cleared and get people passable, get the roads passable.
The big concern when we talked some 24 hours ago is about water on the ground, the potential for what are you seeing just in terms of water?
We haven't seen the flooding yet that we anticipated, although in some isolated areas we do have flooding. What we're seeing right now is just a lot of trees that are down, a lot of power lines that are down. It's dangerous out there. Some of these things have got live wires on them. And I'm asking the citizens that have evacuated from this area to give us some time to be able to clean up these roadways, because I know a lot of people want to get back to Wilmington after this storm passes, but we need some time to get the crews in here to start cleaning up the roadways because they're literally impassable.
Yeah, we were even trying to get to the Waffle House over at Monkey Junction, I think it's called, and it took forever. I mean, it's just hard to get anywhere. Chief, what have you been seeing just in terms of, I know you've been involved in rescues. You had a tree fall on a house here.
Yeah. Well, we've had a busy couple days, actually, and I actually remarked earlier, I don't know if it was with this news organization or not, but we have a 50-mile-an-hour sustained wind protocol that we pulled troops back, and we never got a chance to do it. They were out.
You've had to be out this whole time.
We were out the whole time. The firefighters were out. They were either getting trees off of houses, getting people out of houses, getting people to safety, or doing rescues like we saw earlier today.
I believe it was earlier today, and I think it was in Wilmington. A tree fell on a house. You actually had to try to get somebody out who was pinned down.
Yeah, unfortunately, we did. Had a tragic event with a family where a tree fell, and the firefighters worked really hard. They were able to rescue one of the victims in there. Unfortunately, a mother and a young child perished.
Those were the first known fatalities in the storm. 5 people so far have died. What are you anticipating tonight? I mean, are you still out there, still expecting more?
The trucks are running up and down the road right now, and I've got to say that you're in the city of Wilmington, but I can't not say that the rescue effort is a combined effort with New Hanover County Fire Services and New Hanover Hospital, which runs our EMS-based service, because the 3 of them comprise about 160 fire and medic professionals that are on duty tonight, and will be for the next several days until we get more through the recovery period.
You were talking about, encouraging people not to try to come back. It's not just how difficult the roads are. I mean, this storm, the water is just going to be continuing. I mean, this thing is not over, even though it's a tropical storm. It's going to be miserable for a while.
It is. And, we talked about it the other night, that the river is going to cross to 25 feet on Tuesday. So we're going to be dealing with a flood event into next week. So we've got a tremendous amount of rainfall that is falling with the storm. Obviously, it's still here. It's just about to get out of the area, but we have just an enormous amount of rain that has also been with the system that come through here.
Yeah, Chief, your message to residents as well.
Please stay. If you're here, stay home. If you're not here, stay away. As the mayor said, there's a process we go through to do damage assessment. There's a process to work with Duke Power where we prioritize the service to get the lines back on. The trees have got to be removed from the streets. There's no electricity. There's no reason to come back. So please give us a few days. That's what we need to get back on our feet, and we will. We'll get back on our feet, and we'll be open for business again.
Well, I hope to come back when you are. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Chief.
Anderson.
Thanks for all you're doing, and all your
Thank you,
firefighters.
Anderson.
Thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. I want to check now in with CNN's Diane Gallagher, who's in New Bern, where we've been seeing a lot of those rescues. She had a close call with the flooding earlier tonight. She was on a National Guard vehicle when it began taking on water. She had to be saved by 3 volunteers who are with her now. Diane, what's the situation?
Obviously, at this point, Anderson, we are safe. I just want to give you an idea. That vehicle there you see behind us is very similar to the one that we were in. Essentially, we were on a rescue mission with 3 members of the North Carolina National Guard and another Swiftwater Rescue member here in New Bern. When we got to a very deep area, it appeared the road had washed out, and our vehicle tended to slip, it seemed like. It began taking water on the inside part in there, flipping over a little bit. I cannot give enough kudos and compliments to the way the North Carolina National Guard handled the situation, getting everybody out, to Sergeant McKinney and his crew, who are still waiting with that vehicle now. They were rescued. They went back to wait so they could get it out of here. The people who rescued us, though, Anderson, teenagers from New Bern who have been coming around here and basically rescuing, I think you guys said 50 plus people here. And so Robert showed up in his boat while we were trying to get out the back of that vehicle. Robert, and you guys have been doing this all day though, right? It's not just the National Guard.
Yeah, we've been doing this all day.
Talk to me. What have you guys seen? What's been going on?
We've seen a lot of people with a lot of water in their houses. There have been pets stranded, and anyone that needs help that looks like we can help, we try to go help. That's what we've been doing up here. I drove from Moorhead to Beaufort to get my boat, and then I came all the way up here when I found out about this, and we put my boat in. First rescue we did was actually an unofficial rescue. Don't tell the police department, but there are these people, and they're stranded outside their house, and they were all up on the porch because it's the highest part of their house, and we actually walked in, got them, carried them out. It was 2 very elderly people, and we put them in the back of my truck and in my boat, and we took them to their father's house where it's high and dry.